hello, hi, it's Dr. Amanda Noelle here, and you're here because you are ready to have your Kundalini opened, and you know that it can't be blocked. So I'm going to teach you about the 7 signs her Kundalini is blocked. And now this is mainly for women, it might apply for men. And this is for you if you know that Kundalini is not just sexual energy. It is also, it can manifest through your sexual energy. It can also be a mirror of your light side and your night side, the 2 pillars, the 2 snakes. It's all a symbol of something greater. It's a symbol not just of the body, the mind, and the spirit, but it's a symbol of the shadow side, the dark and the light. And you're here because you are ready to connect your dark and your light, your 2 flames, your 2 serpents, your 2 pillars, your feminine, your masculine at the heart. Woo, that is intense. All right, so let's dive in with these 7 signs of blocked Kundalini with the intentions to open it up. I'll be coming out with a video about 7 signs that your Kundalini is open and give you some awesome ways to open it up. But here's some of the rookie mistakes and the patterns and symptoms. First of all, I'm Dr. Amanda Noelle. I'm the founder of Aphrodite University. My assistant put together this fun little video right here of slides. So thank you, Christine. I have to just share my own story really quick about Kundalini awakening. I didn't know what Kundalini was, but I started to have mystical experiences back when I was around 24. And I synchronistically found myself traveling around the world and meeting mystics, whether it was in a corporate building on the 35th floor of the Jinmao Tower in China and connecting synchronistically with people that believed in ghost spirits and who could talk to them and teach me about them. Or if it was later on when I came back to Berkeley, California and found my mystery school and was taught by some top psychics, intuitives, healers. I don't know about you, but synchronicity has saved me from going down the wrong path. It got me from the corporate world and doing things that just were not part of my soul purpose to like arrows pointing here. And Kundalini is very much like that. So your Kundalini awakening experience and unblocking the Kundalini will happen through synchronicity, through meeting soul family, through like a book thrown in your lap. So if you're watching this video, this is a synchronicity right now that your Kundalini is perhaps a little bit blocked and it is ready to open. There's certain things that you can do to continue to unfold it because you get so much out of a Kundalini that is an awakened Kundalini. Because when we are sovereign and free, our Kundalini is open and flowing. We are tapped into our higher selves, our higher power, and we break out of the matrix and the slavery system that can be oh so tempting to get stuck in. So let's keep going. Breathing deep, connecting to the earth. Here's the first sign. So these signs are kind of in order with the most important sign. Well, they're not really in order. I'll guide you through them. Sometimes I do them in order. This one they're all super important. So the first sign is stagnation. So a lot of women come to me because they want to meet their twin flame. They want to call in their life partner. Twin flame energy, feminine, masculine. It's symbolized with the Kundalini, the twin pillars, the twin snakes going up the 2 sides of the spine. The spine is like this twin pillars, your left and your right side of your body. And so these serpents need to move. They need to move up and down. And we live in a very masculine world where it's very much dogmatic. This is how it is. We need to stick to the structures. What did your school, your university, what did your church, what did your temple, what did your banker teach you? And he got trained from those universities. What did the nutrition pyramid teach you? So a lot of the systems and structures that we've received were programmed by an elite group that did not want our Kundalini to open. I thought it was really interesting when I had a synchronicity of a woman coming to stay, was running an Airbnb, and she stayed with me for a night. And she said, we got into this deep spiritual conversation. She said, one of my best friends, one of my good guy friends, he married a Rothschild and he came out of the elites in the Vatican and he was escaping and coming out and trying to live a normal life and be a light worker. And she said that he was actually trained with tantric secrets as a young child and teenager. And this was so important to them because he said to her, because in order to manifest great wealth, money, abundance, be in our power, we need to be in our sexual energy. So that's part of the Kundalini secrets. Now, gosh, why would elite groups ever keep any secrets or hidden information from the masses, the 99.9%? I don't know. Because we would be free and we wouldn't give them our power anymore. So your Kundalini is like the power cord that charges the battery of your phone, you being the phone, you being the device, you being the body, mind, and spirit of your soul is needing to plug in through our Kundalini. So, okay, let's keep going. So compromised health. A lot of women will come with health issues, with whether it's a female hormonal imbalance health issue, which is rampant in our society. I'm ramping up my hormone balance because if we're on our devices, we're in a modern mainstream world, we are raped of our feminine energy, our yin energy, our hormones go down. Men experience this too, but not as much. That's why historically women have burnt out earlier. Now, women are getting solutions to this that I wouldn't call solutions, I put them in air quotes, because women oftentimes in power jobs will have to have those hysterectomies. It's like 1 out of 3 women get hysterectomies at some point in their life. A lot of women are on hormone blockers or hormone replacers like birth control pills. A lot of women just have to deal with the cancer later and cut it out. This is a sign of a society that has gone through the masculine side of the pillar, the masculine serpent, but the feminine serpent is like, hello, you're not meeting me. There's a blockage, and that is going to manifest as a health symptom. So things that we can do to support our health: eating a super clean diet, finding out the diet that works for your body, really eating not just detoxifying foods. A lot of people are like, I'm on a cleanse, I'm on a green juice. Well, maybe part of the problem with their health isn't even that they are over full of nutrients, it's that they are undernourished. So are you getting enough of the good nutrients and taking the heavy metals, the toxins out? So toxins out, but also nourishment in, because I've seen in the New Age movement, there's been an agenda to actually deplete the divine feminine. So a lot of women waking up spiritually, they get hit with these vegan diets where you have to eat raw, you have to have green juice, and then the thyroid issues start showing up, the mood issues start showing up, and she's going through these like awakening experiences, and then the Kundalini can actually be ungrounded. So are you eating those nourishing foods that ground, as well as eating the things that like get you high? You know, you can have the fruit, the juices, but can you also have those nourishing root vegetables? And for some of us, it means sustainably honoring animal products. I'm doing raw goat milk, and my skin has been like, woo, my cells love it. And I'm doing it because I need to balance my hormones, and those healthy fats are what my intuitive wisdom, as well as my amazing nutrition practitioner, Dara Marin, recommended for me. And I know and trust her, and she's worked with lots of people. So follow the health protocol that works for you. Now, a lot of women will have issues with pain. When I started to have a huge Kundalini awakening experience, it coincided with migraine pain, like severe migraine pain, like vomiting, nausea. Energy goes up the body. So when we have pain, we might ask ourselves, is there something that is stagnant in us, an emotion, a soul purpose, something that we desire, something that's meant to come through? And vomiting, actually, this kind of energy, or even the other way, diarrhea, you know, these things that are pretty repulsive to talk about, they are actually ways of moving Kundalini. And you'll know if you've birthed, it's exactly like a contraction of a pulsation of poo-poo or vomit. And sometimes when you're having a baby, you're doing both, maybe at the same time, I've heard, because the baby needs to move. And so you might not be birthing a baby, but the pain or the stagnation in your Kundalini needs to be moved out. So this could be trapped in your DNA, it could be trapped in your chakras, it could be trapped in your cells as toxins. So the Kundalini is like trying to move it out. And I'll see my daughter when she's doing a poo, she'll shake. And I remember doing that as a child, because our Kundalini is meant to be open and vibrant. If you are privileged to have a natural orgasmic birth, like my daughter and I had together, I birthed her naturally, orgasmically. your Kundalini naturally is open. It wants to be open. So we need to do things that support the movement of our energy so it reopens if it's been blocked, if we didn't have those natural births, if we were C-section babies, or maybe you had a natural birth, but your mom was scared and there was fear, or maybe she had rape trauma in her womb that never got healed, or her mother died and there was all this grief, and then you were born into this like icky, sticky emotional state. We want to use our psychological and psychic tools to clear off this stagnation, which can show up physically, that comes from those other spaces. Because again, the root chakra sits on the earth. It's everything. It's the foundation, our survival, our physical world, but it's connected to the emotional center, our power center, our heart. Everything is one system, and that's the Kundalini, weaving all the chakras together as one system. So stagnant chi, sometimes if a woman has stagnation, she'll have like cold hands and feet. That's circulation, but it's also energetic flow. She'll be blocked. She'll be maybe hunched over. She'll be tight. Versus if she is non-stagnant, if her Kundalini is open, she's going to be more radiantly, energetically moving. Her body's going to naturally want to move around. Her hands are going to be more warm, circulation. And she's going to be connected to the meridians of the earth through her feet channels. The palms of the hands and the palms of the feet are your 4 limb hearts. So you have a heart channel here, but it's connected to the motherboard. So we have 5 hearts according to Chinese medicine. If our chi is moving, if our Kundalini is plugged in, then we've got this like perfect star, the 5-pointed star. We are the Venus, symbol of Venus, which is the pentagram. But if we are not moving our energy out through our limbs, not connecting down through the earth, if we are not taking enough space, maybe we're taught as children, don't take up space, you're a light worker, you shouldn't know all the secrets of the universe, you shouldn't be here, you shouldn't come in. We start getting programmed, or even from birth, we're suffering, we're brought into the medical system in a non-sacred way, we're snipped and tucked, already having surgeries before we can have a moment to breathe, snipping our umbilical cord violently, snipping our genitalia if you're male. Oh my gosh, there's all this trauma that can pull in our energy, and we can end up being in this freeze state, and then our chi doesn't flow. So if the Kundalini is unblocked, we have such a bigger auric energetic field. Doesn't mean our aura necessarily has to run bigger, but our aura is full of our own energy, and we don't attract toxic people, toxic energies, toxic blueprints, toxic money systems. We're flowing at the beat of our own chi drum. So again, poor blood flow because of the stagnant chi. So if you have an issue with chi flow, you might be a really powerful divine feminine, but getting that in your body means doing practices like I'm slapping my thighs, slapping your arms, doing this pretty frequently. I stand on a thing that looks like little nails coming out of it. It is, I don't know what it's called. Maybe it's called a chi mat or something, but it was gifted to me from a friend, and I want to share it with you because I stand on it every morning, and it's like these little tiny plastic spikes that go into my feet, and oh my gosh, it has helped me open my body, open the energy body, open to the Kundalini. And I even had a menstrual headache the other day, and I stood on it for a couple minutes, and I was kind of like marching and moving, and then it moved. I'm going to give you a little simple tip here before I talk about sexual blockage, is if you feel blocked, energy barfing. Have you ever heard of energy barfing? It's a tantric secret. If you have energy that feels like it needs to go, and you feel the impulse, like you feel disgusted, or you feel like energetic toxins are coming out, you feel like, oh my gosh, there's a demon in my family lineage that's been telling me I can't be powerful and share my voice, or I can't be sexual with my partner and be kinky, and whatever it is. Like, we have these voices, these demons, these entities, and sometimes they need to get purged out. And literally, I have discovered this tool, that energetic vomiting, like actually letting it come out energetically, is so powerful. And sometimes women work with this tool and they'll feel energetic barfing needing to come out if they're being sexual, particularly with their partner, particularly a male in a certain oral kind of situation, if you know what I'm talking about. And there's like a impurity coming through him or just something that triggers a wound in her. And so it might seem really insulting to do this to your partner, but like if you want your Kundalini to be open and free, you need to have a union that's safe to talk about this. And my partner's like, okay, you're barfing on me again. He's like, okay, honey, do it. But it's like, you know, I'm releasing something. Maybe there's a toxin in our dynamic, our connection. And if I'm just like sucking it in and letting it go in my gut, like, why is that helping him if he has to take care of me because I'm taking on his toxins? It's silly. So let it out. Let it into the river of chi. All right. So sexual blockage. So if we're stagnant, obviously women with poor blood flow are not going to have the blood going to certain important places. So when we are sexual, it actually helps to awaken the body. So it is important to have a practice, a regular practice. It's important to have sexual practice, a practice like yoga, ecstatic dance, something that gets your body and blood flow moving, the slapping, the qigong, whatever it is for you. And it's great if you love soccer. It's great if you love to go to the gym, but can you also have an intentional energy practice that's not just mind over matter, push, 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 go, 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 where you're deprogramming your body to say, I'm here with my spirit. I feel my chi. Because it's a lot. If you're pumping a lot of iron to sit and stay with it, you're probably not going to be able to push through it and not get as many reps, but you'll be more connected. I have found that my body doesn't like to do a lot of weightlifting. My craniosacral therapist is like, what is going on with your body? You're so blocked. And I changed weight training for working with an embodiment coach and doing much more gentle, feminine balance. And, you know, I've got some tone here, right? Like, I'm pretty cut, right? But I gave up that heavy stuff, and guess what? My headache situation, I was having monthly migraines. For 4 months, I haven't had a migraine. And if they come now, it's like, whoop, stand on my mat. I was attacked with 20 years of severe migraines because my Kundalini was being attacked. Because those of you who are here, I'm going to give you a little secret. Those of you who are here are probably connected to some pretty important body vehicles. Maybe you have some special magic in you. Maybe you have connection to a bloodline that was here on the planet, that was plugged into the original earth grids, maybe back in Egypt. Maybe you are Venusian. Maybe you can come from Venice, Italy. I don't know where you're from, but maybe you're not just the GMO kind of DNA that's meant to be here asleep. Maybe you have some original seeding DNA or some magic that is in your soul. It's like, I'm here, I'm God, I'm here to wake up. And so the light, when the light gets real bright, guess what happens? You get spotted by some dark energy. And so if you have pain, don't worry. Go on your healing path. You'll find the support. And my pain taught me, let's see. Oh no, we had a little internet issue. So I am going to, let's see. Bummer. It's life in Bali. We live out in the rice field. Let me see if I can. I guess I'll just keep going and re-upload this later. Okay, maybe I'm still live too. Who knows? But so my point is that if you are feeling called to open your Kundalini and you have some signs going on that you're either your Kundalini is open or you found something online, you're like, what is Kundalini? Or I'm passionate about it. There's a purpose here, and that you have a soul purpose to reclaim your sovereign plug-in to your higher self and do great things on this earth and beyond this lifetime, and that you're here to reclaim your number for yourself. You're not a slave. You're not owned by someone else. It's crazy. There's a website that you can go to, type in your own social security code, and see how many times you've been traded in a slavery system where bankers, a lot of them are in England. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but it's time to break free from this slavery system. Okay. So our Kundalini. If a woman lacks joy, if one lacks joy, that's a sign that we're not getting the soul nutrients, and oftentimes we are not grounding down. If we are feeling down, we are not grounding back down to the earth and pulling up earth energy. We're not taking real nutrients from the earth. Or maybe we are giving our energy out to everybody else, and we just, even if we're taking energy from the earth, we're not getting enough for ourselves. We're overgiving. So it's about energetic balance, and it really is important to connect both to earth and sky. Having practices to do that, having practices to honor the earth. Are you coming to circles with other human beings, honoring the earth, honoring the planets, honoring the moon? Moon is a symbol of the earth. It is her juicy golden egg, her ova that represents the fertility of the earth. Some say that the moon is not really the Earth's egg, but at least it's a symbol of that. Some people say that the moon was taken from Maldek, another planet, and is actually a satellite. And I think there's a lot of evidence of that personally, but I digress because they found out the moon is hollow. That's kind of weird. But if we are not doing things to honor our bodies, honor the earth, honor the material plane, even if it's been jacked with, can we send out healing energy to her as we receive it back? So Kundalini mamas who are tapped in are going to be alive, free, ecstatic, juicy. They want to go to those ecstatic dances. They want to connect to their soul family. They want to connect deeply and within themselves. They know what's right for them. So depression, depletion, losing verve for life, we all go through these periods, and it's not about perfection because Kundalini goes up and down. But if we're consistently down, if we're consistently lost in our career, our soul purpose, we're constantly longing for a partner and it keeps blowing up in our face, that hope, then we just kind of go like, I'm going to cut off from my desire for that. Then we're often not alive and active in our Kundalini. And it's like two sides of the same thing. Is our Kundalini is our love, our joy for life. Our joy for life is our Kundalini. So we gotta do whatever it takes to break through, whether it's seeing a counselor, working in a group, showing up, rewiring our business. It's so easy to want to give up, and I get it. 3D ain't easy. Number 3, the third sign that her Kundalini is blocked is that she's rigid, she lacks flow, grace, and is stuck in her ways. So this could be a physical rigidity, like a woman that's walking like a bot. That is a sign her Kundalini is blocked. If she's really tight, her yoni is like tight. It's really hard to get in there. She's hard to get turned on. If she is anal, literally, and anal retentive, is she's like, everything's got to be this way or I'm unhappy. She's got to take control of everything, control freak. I work with a lot of women who are control freaks because they're highly successful physically in their careers. But then when it comes to finding an emotional relationship, they are oftentimes having really painful, imbalanced relationships, narcissists, or people that are cheating, or people that are not emotionally available. They're always like someday kind of breadcrumbing them or energetically vampiring them. And sometimes they don't even know it until we do this deep healing work on all levels, and it impacts the Kundalini. We work directly on the Kundalini, but we also want to work emotionally, spiritually, looking at mother wounds, father wounds, working energetically on the chakras, healing the diet, healing the whole being. But then through that, the Kundalini gets moving. She starts having her joy again. And then suddenly, like, she lets her hair down a little bit. She doesn't have to like keratin flat iron her hair every day and dot every T and I, and she can be more real. And suddenly she buys a beach home in Hawaii and she's like, I'm gonna do me now. And then suddenly she starts going on dates with different kinds of people. Maybe she's like, hey, I've never dated a woman before. Maybe she's like, hey, I've never dated someone younger before. And she's like, woohoo, I'm gonna have fun and do me. And then that person who's right for her, if there is one person, or maybe it's multiples, or maybe she's even just great on her own, she starts fulfilling herself and feeling fulfilled and having the support in her life mirror her deepest desires and fantasies. And it's awesome to watch. Perfectionistic is the fourth sign. So I talked a little bit about being rigid, and a lot of times women will be rigid at work and need to be rigid in the kitchen, cleaning everything, having everything clean for them. Everything has to be really safe and her way in order for her to be even like a little bit relaxed. So that is not going to give her this multiple 7-figure orgasm, the multiple 7 chakra orgasm. It will not give her the pleasure, the safety, the freedom that she desires. And it also can lead her to, by default, hooking her back into the dogmas that she was programmed with. So maybe she grew up in a Catholic country where there was a lot of conditioning around the church and about how the virgin is good and the whore is bad, and that's, you have a choice, just one or the other. Or maybe she was raised in a very dogmatic school of like, you got to get all A's, otherwise you're going to be not one of the successful people in life. And it's like all or nothing, black and white thinking. The thing about Kundalini, we have the left and the right, the black and the white, and it's all about integrating the two pillars, the two serpents, through the heart. So the heart is that compassion that's like, you know what? It's kind of messy today, but I'm going to keep going, and I love myself just as much as if I did it right. The kitchen looks like a mess right now, but I'm going to take a rest and deeply nourish my body, and I know that it'll get clean tomorrow. And I'm going to imagine that the kitchen is perfect just the way it is and feel whole, versus having to push through with adrenal fatigue, cleaning each and every pot and pan so we can sleep. That's the old program of the Martyr Mary syndrome. Now we're getting to number 5 with complaining. She complains her way through life. So being that victim, being that, like men are, there are none that are good. There are no good men for me. Nobody will understand me. Being a victim. People at work, they do this to me. They make me feel. If a woman says the words, you make me feel, she's already a victim, because no one can make you feel something. When you did this, I chose to feel, or when you did this, I felt this. That's okay if you feel a certain way, but no one can make you feel that way. You are the creator of your feelings, and they just are, but no one's making you a victim to your feelings. And by the way, when we own our feelings, we're like, I felt like crap. I felt sad. I felt hurt. And we own it for ourselves and not push it on someone else to fix it. But we take responsibility of ourselves. And then, yes, we start to set healthy boundaries, and we tell our partner, when you speak to me in that tone, actually, I feel hurt. I feel sensitive. I feel inner child wounding coming up. Can I share about what would be a better tone of voice to speak to me in? Or when you showed up 10 minutes late for our date, here's how I felt, and here's what I need from you if you want to be in a relationship with me. So speaking up early, especially if you're single and you're looking for your twin flame and you're wanting to date for success. If you come from a powerful, instead of victim, like he's not doing it right, he's not calling me back, he's not texting me back, instead of just like, hey, here's like the resume for here's the job description of the partner that I'm looking for, and it's totally cool if you're going to show up 10 minutes late for dates, like that's fine, but I'm someone who's on time, I'm prompt, like this is what I need. And so like if that's going to put too much pressure on you, I'm sure we had a great first date, but it's not worth, me stressing out, me going into like abandonment wounds, or just, like I'm someone who's punctual, and that's what I need. And oftentimes when we put it all out on the table, they do run. But guess what? Better that they ran now rather than 6 months later when you're totally in an oxytocin roadblock, Matt. Like you're just like bonded. You're just like, whew, stuck in traffic forever because the energy didn't move, because you never said exactly what you need for your energy to flow. So instead of the complaining leads to the stagnation, which leads to the chi being blocked, which leads to our Kundalini blocks. If we can complete our sentences with positive, here's what I want, here's what I expect, here's what I need, here's what I desire, here's what works for me. When you did this, I felt this, that doesn't work for me. Just owning it with nonviolent communication. And this is one of our phases in the Twin Flame Alchemy formula is communication. Communication is really finding that space where we speak inside of ourselves first, then we express what we need to that person, and we allow the union. All right, I digress. Let's keep going. Number 6, blocks. Her bliss is blocked. One of the signs, very important, is that she has lost her bliss. She's cut off from her pleasure, her abundance, her manifestations. Maybe she is so embarrassed about her body image that she doesn't go out to ecstatic dance, or subconsciously she's like, I'm going to live in bliss later. Right now I'm kind of down, or I'm just like, I got stuff to do at work. I'm going to focus on my business, my next business project. I'm going to focus on writing my dating profile. I'm going to focus on taking care of my family. And then there's just like every family member is getting sick. So if she's not putting her bliss now on the top priority of her to-do list every day, doesn't mean that she's always in bliss. You know, I did my taxes the other day. It was like, okay, like trying to keep the energy high, keeping the Kundalini going, put on some nice music, have some good essential oils, like get in, set a timer, you know, do a certain amount a day. We all have our strategies to get stuff done. You're a big girl with grown ass panties. What's the saying? So life brings us responsibility, but can we take responsibility and integrate bliss in every day? What are you doing when you wake up in the morning? Are you starting your day? You grab your phone, you start checking emails. What are you doing when you're in your partnership? Is it you wake up, ask, you know, what time did the kid go to bed last night? Or are you snuggling? Are you making out? Are you kissing them? Are you touching them? Even if it's just for a moment. Are you giving little like massages to each other? Are you eye gazing? This builds up our oxytocin. Oxytocin is the bliss chemical. Well, actually, it's the bonding chemical, but anandamide and oxytocin, they work together. You're either in the hormone cocktail of fuck, or you're either in the hormone cocktail of fuck, you know, because our brain has either panic or pleasure. If you're not in the pleasure, then there's always going to be like panic showing up in your life, another crisis at work, or a healing crisis, or a crisis with your money, or whatever it is. But if we can do the things that fill up our cup and really ensure our bliss, we'll get out of that cycle. And it doesn't matter how beautiful you are, how successful, how financially wealthy you are, how many men want you. If you are not in your bliss, you're not successful. You're not successful because you're not going to be fulfilled. So I know a lot of women that have the most extraordinary lives. I work with a lot of these women. They have the hot job. They have the hot status. Maybe they have lots of followers. Maybe they have a lot of gorgeous people in their network. They're great at what they do at work. Everybody respects them. And hey, they can't move their Kundalini. Their sexual energy is blocked. They're not turned on. They're not ecstatic. They're not feeling that full love rippling into their marriage or their partnership. So we need to have practices consistently that feed our abundance. We want to remove the blocks in the sacral chakra, which is connected to creativity and bliss or pleasure. Now, the last one is the giver upper. So a sign that her Kundalini is blocked is just like, I can't do this. And sometimes, let's just disclaimer here, of course, like we need to have times where we let go of things. We give up. It's like, okay, I put my money into this investment and it's crashing more. Okay, like got to take the money out. Same thing in relationships, same thing. It happens from time to time. But if there's a pattern where she keeps giving up, or she's like, you know, maybe I just should start giving up on a partnership and instead I will just get into crocheting, or it's just too hard this lifetime. If we give up, then we're giving up on our dream. That said, giving up as a temporary thing is actually very powerful, and that is one of the phases. It's twin flame separation. We're just like separate, let it go, and then we come back. But if you're stuck in the separation, you're just giving up. If you're like, I give up on my dream career, I give up on this thing, and then it's just like I'm going to settle the rest of my life for living in mediocrity, that is a sign that the Kundalini is blocked. So it's ironic, but sometimes the things we need to do during these dark times is getting our Kundalini perked up. And I'll give my story of when my husband and I were almost about to give up on our marriage. Well, not our marriage, we weren't married yet. We were in union for maybe 4 years, and I'd had the engagement band on my ring finger for like a year and a half, 2 years maybe. And I was like, all right, like, let's shit or get off the pot, please. Like, I'm getting older and I want to have a family. I want to have a baby. And like, you have all the time in the world. You're 9 years younger. My husband is just turned 34. I'm 43. So you do the math. So I laid down the law, and I finally set a boundary of what I needed. And it was scary as balls, ladies, like putting my heart out there. And he said, you know what? I can't give you what you need right now, but I can give you some time and me some time to, like, we set a 2-month window of time where we worked through our stuff and we had separation. We actually had a physical separation it was only like 10 days, but it was a long 10 days of like no contact, not seeing him. We ended on we started it on a really painful note of like, we might be breaking up. So my Kundalini, let's get to this point of this video. I unblocked my Kundalini by focusing every day on certain practices to help rise my Kundalini and connect to my womb and connect to my orgasmic frequency and bring it down and move it through. And when he walked through the door, actually 10 days later, he was like, holy crap, woman, like, who is this goddess? He was like, where'd you put my woman? I was sad, and it was painful because I was like, I think, like, this is the point in most relationships where the guy would leave me in the past. So I was like, I have to accept, whatever's coming. This is my old story. And I was in that grief, and I was mourning every single relationship where he'd showed up like a knight in shining armor, and then it was a disappointment. And then I had to start over again. And so I'm looking at him like confused. He's like, you're in all this pain, but you're also like this Shakti goddess. Like, who are you? And so I set healthy boundaries. I was like, you can't come into my Kundalini fully. If you're not going to commit to marriage, I can let you in a little bit. But I owned it. Like, I was sitting on it like it was gold. And I kept nourishing it, and I would do these practices. And girlfriend, it worked. He was like, all right, like, I'm an idiot. What am I doing? All right. And then he changed his behaviors. I changed my behaviors that were not working for him. We communicated. We had our divine communication. He was like, here's what I need in a relationship. I was like, here's what I need. We got on board. We were like two powerful CEOs, like stamping, okay, got it. As well as we had this delicious, sacral, sensual energy to be with, and sacred union energy that by the time we were on, what is it called? The podium, the pedestal. When we were at our wedding, and our whole families and friends watching us, there was divine love emanating through, and the sun, it was like a whole rainy, crappy week. I was like so distraught because I have a wedding in California if it's raining the whole week. Anyways, the sun came out and everybody was tearing up. It was so beautiful, not to brag about, but you could see like the love was there, and it was sacred. And honestly, that's what Kundalini is all about. And that's the closing note, is when we honor our Kundalini, we're literally weaving together heaven and earth and sky, mother and father, dark and light, Satan and the goddess of love. And it's integrated so that love trumps all. Amor vincit omnia. So if you are feeling like giving up, don't give up. Keep going. Get the support you need. It can feel overwhelming. I know it's not easy. Some people have signed up for some heavy stuff this lifetime, but amor vincit omnia. Love conquers all. So don't give up on your relationships, your money, your family, in any area. You can have it all. I know you can. And just the pursuit of it and the belief and the love paves the way for the next generation. So giving up is only going to cause the loss keeping on going and pleasuring yourself and moving your stagnant energy and doing the things that keep you joyful and staying out of those things that keep you depressed and down and grounding to the earth, taking care of yourself and discovering the secrets of Kundalini. This is the way to go. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you in tomorrow's video. Please go ahead and subscribe and have yourself a beautiful day. Sorry for the technical glitch if that happened, but namaste, namasko. Bye now.